If you switched to Elementor V4 early, you probably hit a wall. Half of what you needed wasn't there yet. Not anymore. I sat back down and built real projects again, and the workflow changed big time. Now you could spend weeks figuring out the fastest way to work in V4. Or you learn these 3 skills. In fact, if I was starting from scratch today, then they are the only skills that I've learned before 2027. Learn them and you're building 10 times faster. And the best part is, in this tutorial, we won't jump back and forth between abstract features. Instead, I'll show you all 3 on a real dashboard I built in V4. And along the way, you'll learn the most useful skills in the Atomic Editor. So subscribe for Elementor tutorials and let's dive in. So the first thing I want to point out is the div block and the Flexbox here in the new Atomic Elements. This isn't the first skill yet, but understanding the difference between div block versus Flexbox is very important when working with the new Atomic Editor. Because although they look like 2 different elements, they're basically the same. They just have different default presets. Look, let's drag a div block onto our timeline, and here's another quick hack for you. Don't click on the plus icon here on the canvas anymore, because if you do so, you'll end up using the old V3 layout boxes, and we definitely don't want to have to deal with them anymore. Instead, directly drag the atomic element on the canvas, like this, and the difference between those 2 elements is simple. The div block layout is preset to block, and the Flexbox layout is preset to flex. Just like that. Simple. And you can always convert a div block into a Flexbox as well as you can convert a Flexbox into a block. So when to choose which? As soon as you need direction, like row or column, or want to add a gap, you need the Flexbox layout, which is probably the case for 95% of your build. For example, with this dashboard here, which has quite some complex layout. How many div boxes are there? What do you think? Write your number in the comments now. And by the way, for this tutorial, I'm using the Client Project Hub here, which is my premium Elementor template. And as you can see, we don't have to be afraid anymore of stacking containers. Instead, Elementor now wants us to build better layouts on our own and to use basically as many divs or flexboxes as we want to and need to. For example, to build a bit more complex layout like this. Okay, so now that we understand the very basics of the new atomic layout, we're going to learn the first skill. When working with the new Atomic Editor, we now got this awesome tool like using variables. And here are my 3 must-have variables you can't skip when building a website. Always create a delete padding variable to delete the default 10-pixel padding on all of the containers. Yes, this padding is still there, we still have to deal with it, but by using a simple variable like this, it's super easy. Next, create a transparent variable. Because Elementor still makes it a bit complicated to delete a color, we still have to open the color picker and slide the transparency to 0, because deleting a color won't set it to transparent. Using the new variable skips all that and makes the workflow way faster. Then another thing that saves you time is to work with CSS classes as kind of a base. For example here with this heading element, I created a global CSS class, look, this one, which contains all the styling. For example, the font family, the font weight, size, color, and so on. But the trick is, if I need to change something only on this specific heading, so go back to local. Here, I added a bottom padding on this title only. All the other titles won't have this padding. This saves so much time and I loved it as soon as I started working like that. Let me show you real quick. You just throw your heading element in there, apply your CSS class, like this, and then add some little changes in local. Just like that. This saves so much time. Okay, for the second skill, we are going to learn to pay attention to the new Unified Style tab. Because what I was just showing you by switching between global and local style, this can also get mixed up sometimes. But first, let's have a closer look to the new Style tab, because I absolutely love this now and never ever want to go back to the old V3 way of clicking and searching and styling every widget. Now with the new elements, every single styling option lives under this Style tab. Simple. It's the same for every element. So no matter if you want to change the border on a Flexbox or an SVG element, the border is always here. No more clicking tabs and searching for where the style settings are hiding. Also, let's have a closer look on the colored dots here. Pink dot means the style is local and can be changed here when local is activated. The green dot means this style is saved as global in the CSS class. You can only change it when the green CSS class is active. And a yellow dot means we accidentally produced a problem by overwriting a global style with a local style, which honestly happens quite often. But the good thing is, we get this visual signal now. To fix it, just go back to local and delete the local styles, because as soon as there's a global CSS class style defined, we cannot add another local style to it. So it's sometimes better to just create basic global classes and then add specific details in local. This is so cool and honestly so fast to work with. The third skill is going to be to define our page sizes with CSS classes. This is such a cool new way of building websites and was a huge pain point with the old Elementor system. So instead of going to site settings and trying to define a content width via the layout settings, we are now creating CSS classes that contain the layout values. But I want to show you my actual workflow now, because I only use two methods now to define a page layout. I just have to decide whether I want to show a full-size background layout or a simple boxed container, like this, and it works every time. Let's have a look at the full-width background layout. Of course, I want the background, whether this is a background image or just a simple color stretch across the whole display width, like this. But of course, we don't want our content to be that wide. So how to do this? It's pretty easy now. First, let's build the background container. We start with a div block and add a color or a background image, whatever you want to have here. And now, we are going to apply the delete spacing variable I just showed you in skill 1, like this. Okay, let's call this full width base in the navigator. Next, let's add another Flexbox that's going to be the content area. So let's rename that real quick too. Then just quickly toss in a heading, a paragraph element, and a button. That's just to show you how to fix the layout. Okay, then grab the whole content Flexbox, open Layout under the Style tab, and set Direction to Column, Justify Content Center, and align items to left, like this. Then you can add a gap. I already have a variable here. And then the magic happens under the Size tab. Let's first put the width to 100%. And for the max width, we put this formula. I'm using a min function here, which just picks the smaller of the two values. A max width of around 1500 pixels, or the full screen minus a little space on each side. So on a wide screen, the content caps and centers itself, and on a smaller screen, it shrinks along with it, but always keeps room on the left and right. That's my side padding, handled in one line, no breakpoints needed. Only thing we need to fix now is to define the layout in the background base box. And just like that, we turn a div block into a Flexbox. Oh, and don't forget to also add the delete spacing variable to remove the padding. It's done. Just convert it to a global class like this. And now we can apply this to all our containers. The second use case, you're going to love this. Let's just add a normal Flexbox, add our content like this, and then add the new CSS class, and boom, the content aligns itself perfectly. There is a link in the description to get the Client Project Hub Elementor template, or you can watch this video here. Thanks so much for watching, and hear you in the next one.